What is up, and welcome to Real Advice in Relationships. I'm your host, Keisha, aka Author K.O. Sterling, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the podcast. As you're enjoying today's episodes, please rate this podcast, share this podcast, but most of all, download the podcast episodes. So sit back, turn up that dial, and enjoy this Southern girl share some real advice in relationships. I want to talk about why it's dangerous for women to have soul ties with a lot of different dudes, okay? And I talked about this a little bit in part 2. When you share yourself with someone, you take on their likeness, okay? People from ancient societies or cultures of antiquity, they felt as if when you had sex with someone, when two people had sex together, that created a union. The two became one, all right? And it's so weird because I was watching a sermon on Sunday because churches are closed. Well, some have reopened, but some you go outside and have church, but some are still closed. But I was watching a sermon on Sunday, and the guy was saying how he was talking about an article. I actually went to go research the article, and the article actually is there. Is that it says that when women have sex with men, the men leave their DNA behind, okay? You don't have to conceive. You don't even have to have a baby for this person to get pregnant or anything like that. When women have sex with men, there's an unprotected sex. The semen of that man, when she has sex with him repeatedly, it has the ability to seep down into her bones. This article said this, right? He can leave behind his DNA can be embedded into her genetic code. That's deep, y'all. Because in this same article, they exhumed a body of a woman, and every man that she ever had sex with was found in her bones. When you have sex with a person, you are tied. That is a tie, y'all. You see how committed that is? You see, even in death, that woman still has carried those men have left themselves behind, dead and gone, but they live on through her. And so that is why I am saying it is dangerous for women to have soul ties with a lot of different dudes. Because we think in marriage as a piece of paper. We thinking of marriage as a contractual agreement. But if we want to get a little bit deeper into it, it makes me think of the woman at the well, the biblical story. I forget what book it comes from, but it comes from one of the New Testament Gospels. But the story of the Samaritan woman coming to the well, and she was coming there to get water, and she had a lot of husbands. People back then, they look at you just, they was a little hoish, you right? Okay. But when we see that passage, or when we see that as somebody who has had on paper a bunch of husbands. But understand what I just told you about. When a woman has sex with a man, that consummates a marriage. That makes a marriage. That's not, paper don't make no marriage. That's how we do it now. But that don't mean that you're not married. Like, so with that Samaritan woman, Samaritan woman, she had a bunch of husbands. She had been with a bunch of dudes. That don't mean she technically on paper was married to those men. She had sex with those men. She lived with those men. She those were her partners. The lady liked loving, okay? She liked that loving. So we have to understand we have to think beyond just the scratch of the surface. We have to go beyond just the basics of it, okay? So spiritual soul ties for women, again, can be dangerous because the spiritual consequences is that you block your blessing. You got a for real soul tie. Now somebody, he gone on and he done married and he doing good for himself, or he happy, or whatever the case may be, or unhappy. We don't know. But he's gone on to another relationship and you've gone on and you wondering why you still thinking about him. That's because he's left part of himself behind inside of you. And many of us have not detoxed. We need to really spiritually detox dudes that we didn't been with. You take on his likeness. Have you ever seen a couple that has been married so long and they more like sister and brother than they are husband and wife? They act alike, they start to look alike, they start to favor, and it's like their mannerisms are the same. They swap mannerisms. Their mannerisms are very similar and the same when they've been together for a long time. The two become one is not a myth. That sounds good in a romance novel, but y'all, some of that stuff, it has a lot of truth to it. So, and I want to say this as I close. Now, men and women will process this information differently. Men and women see things and interpret things totally different because our language is different. Because with men, you can talk to them and everything, but their first initial language is perception, is looks, okay? That's their first initial language. With us, we listen, we hear, we looking too, but that's why you can get a busted dude and you could put him with a pretty woman because it was something he said. It wasn't how he looked. It was the words that he used. People are going to process this whole message differently, and it's okay. A dude will see what I'm saying and wouldn't see that as a soul tie. I would see that as being a soul tie if you connected to somebody from your past and both of y'all moved on and you still low-key care about them. Okay? I see that as a soul tie. Okay? And for that woman, that is dangerous because she needs to be able to move on. She needs to be able to not have Willie, Joe, and Big Mike influencing her decisions and comparing her new dude to dudes she's been with in the past who obviously have moved on. Because for dudes, they don't see this as soul ties. They lust. I said all that to say they gonna see this from some of them, not all of them. Will see it's a lustful perspective from a male's point of view. So soul ties for men and women are defined and viewed and seen and conversated differently sometimes. Okay, so I'm sorry I had to go all the way around the world to get that last point out, but it's alright. I'm back. This is my first time back. This is my first podcast back. So yeah, just bear with me because I'm going somewhere. I didn't went off my notes, but I'm going somewhere. But I'm so glad to be back in full effect. And I just wanted to come on here and close out this series. And thank y'all so much for being here with me today. And just understand that there are spiritual consequences to the casual relationships that you have. There's this saying, everybody needs somebody and we weren't created to be alone. I do believe that. But you have to be wise about who you choosing to spend your time with. You have to be wise about who you are intertwining with, who you are entangling yourself with. You have to be very conscious of who you choosing to allow to leave his seed behind long and well after he is gone and y'all have moved y'all separate ways. Because from that article that I just told you about, from that scientific article that I just told you about, the person that you may be having casual sex with that is raining all up in your womb, that is leaving his seed behind in your womb, whether you get pregnant or not, whether you might not can't even have no more children. But that does not negate that you literally is going to take that man to your grave. Literally, from that article. Okay? So be mindful who you want to rest well. You want to rest in peace when you do rest. You don't want to, if you was fighting together on earth, ain't no way in this world. Especially knowing what I know now. But anyway, I done went stage left. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. I hope that everything is well with you guys. I hope that this podcast finds you well. Thanks again for tuning in to Real Advice in Relationships. Stay tuned because we have a lot more great episodes coming up. It is your girl Keisha signing off. Peace, y'all. Bye. Hey, guys. Be sure to go to my website, klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough. That's klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough. There you can find links to all of my social media platforms, shirts, books, and did I mention I offer free ebooks? Yes, when you go to my website, klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough, click on the ebooks link and it will take you directly to the free ebooks that I offer. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Bye. Hey guys, be sure to go to my website, klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough. That's klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough. There you can find links to all of my social media platforms, shirts, books, and did I mention I offer free ebooks? Yes, when you go to my website, klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough, click on the ebooks link and it will take you directly to the free ebooks that I offer. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Bye.